beautiful creatives, and welcome back to my art studio. My name is Chrissie B, and I am a creativity coach hoping to inspire and empower you to live a more creative life every day. Now today I'm going to do something a little bit different than I've done before, and this has been something that has been sitting in the back of my mind and in my supply closet for a long time, and I've decided that today is the day that I'm going to do it. I want to use up all of these old Rolodexes that I have sitting around, and I've got literally thousands of these cards that I have just been collecting from everywhere because I have this awesome idea in my head that I want to create a Rolodex of like inspirational thoughts and truths that I want to remember and things that I need to hear every single day especially when life gets crazy, busy, hectic. There are all different kinds of Rolodexes out there. I know that these aren't really used too terribly often anymore because most everything is computerized. So that is why I'm able to find them so easily. I find them very inexpensively at thrift stores. I have people who just give them to me now because they know I collect them. I have 3 different kinds with me today. I have this kind, which is a flat and long, and it's got a lot of cards in it. I have a short, small one that stands up straight. The one that I really want to fill up though is this one. Now this one's kind of harder to see, but it stands on your table and it spins. Now right now there's only the Rolodex, like the index cards, the ABC, you know, the alphabetized cards. But if I fill this up, it would be like this big, massive, colorful, decorated thing of like awesome cards. And that's my goal, is I want to fill that up. This is the thing that I want to have on my working desk when I am, you know, editing videos and writing blog posts and doing all that stuff, preparing classes. This is the thing that I want to have on my desk. I think this will be so motivating and empowering to myself, to remind myself of positivity and motivation and you can do this and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So, but because this is going to take, I don't know how many cards this will take a bugajillion cards. So the reason I haven't started this project is because the idea of doing a bugajillion of these cards has completely stressed me out. So I'm giving myself permission to not start with this one. This one is the one that gets to go back into the storage closet. Okay, and then this one as well, I feel like it would be really cool, but I feel like it's going to take forever to fill up, so I'm going to put that one away as well. However, the one that I feel is not quite so overwhelming is this little one. I feel like it's not too big, it's not too overwhelming, it's not very stressful, at least right now I'm hoping it won't become very stressful, but I think that if I do a few cards every so often, I think that I'll get this one filled up pretty quickly. And once this one is filled up, I can then take all of those cards and put them onto the Rolodex, you know, the tabletop roll one, and then I can just fill it up again and keep doing that until I have enough that I feel like the Rolodex one is really like full and juicy enough to actually like put out and make me happy. So I have a bunch of supplies in front of me. Right now I've got this broken out into 7 steps. The first step is going to be paint. I'm going to set my Rolodex holder aside, and I have a bunch of these cards already. And I have pre-prepared some of them, and I'll show you those in just a second, but let me show you the paints that I'm going to be using. Now, I have a crap ton of paints, a lot, and a crap ton. A crap ton is a scientific measure, just in case you didn't know that. But I have the whole set of Crafters acrylic, almost the entire set, just because it was on sale one day and I had a bee in my bonnet and I thought, oh my gosh, I need paint. And I went a little bit insane. So these have been sitting on my shelf forever. Some of them haven't been opened. I have to open them before I can use them. But I am using Christmas Red, Lush Foliage, Pure Pumpkin, Tutti Frutti, Dark Turquoise, Sun Yellow, White, and Black. Now, I don't know if I'll use all of these, but these are the ones that I have at the ready. So I'm going to set these aside. And then I have a few stencils that I'm going to be using. I have some stamps in front of me that I also will be using. Just a small assortment, small to me, because I've got a bajillion of those as well. I've got some paper. These are just the pages that I tore out of my altered book when I first got my altered book ready to go. These have kind of been sitting on my shelf waiting to be used, so I've decided today will be the day that I'll pay attention to those. And I've also got 2 of my Dina Wakley Heavy Body acrylic paints, White and Night, and these will be used for my stencils. I thought I needed a little bit heavier body of paint for that, so that's what that is for. I have my trusty handy dandy paintbrush. I'm going to pull 2 more of those just in case I would decide to make any other kind of marks. That's what those will be for. And now let's get to the cards. Now these Rolodex cards I find are very easy to find. You may have it, that may not be the case for you. So what you could do is you could, I don't know the size of the Rolodex card off the top of my head. Let me see if I can figure it out. So it looks like it's 2 1/4 inches by 4 inches. So 2 1/4 inches by 4 inches. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. So what you could do to create your own Rolodex cards, if you can't find them out in the world, is cut your own out of cardstock. I would recommend cardstock. Maybe craft paper would be good, like the kind, like 12 by 12 decorative paper. That could be good for this. Then I would take, if you wanted to make it as similar to this as possible, I would take a 1/2 inch corner rounder and clip all the edges so that they're rounded. And then this little thing is a business card punch. You could find it on Amazon. It's super easy to find. I don't remember paying more than maybe $5 for it. I think it was, for some reason I'm thinking it was $3, but it might be up to $5. And then you can just punch your own holes to match the Rolodex using that. It's basically a hole punch. It's kind of, I haven't used it yet because I found a bunch of these, but I thought this would be really good to have just in case, like for example, I covered one with book paper, which means I then lose the holes. And I thought that this would be a good way to like re-punch those holes. That's easy enough. And now I've got my holes back again. So I have one of those. So you don't have to find the Rolodex cards. If you need to create them, the measurements are 4 inches by 2 1/4 inches. I use a half inch round corner punch, and then you can use a business card punch to get your holes at the bottom, and then they will fit into a Rolodex. So that is easy peasy enough. So I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do 9 cards today. I'm going to do them all at once. And I'm going to treat them like one gigantic card. Let me set these off to the side somewhere. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some washi tape, and I'm going to use black and white washi tape so I can keep my background very, very neutral. But I'm going to take some washi tape. Okay, and because I'm a weirdo, because I'm that weird person, I want to make this more square-ish versus this weird rectangular that I've got. So I'm going to add one more row to this. Let's see, 2 more rows? Yeah, I'm going to do 2 more rows. I won't finish all of these on camera today, but you'll see what I'm doing and why I'm doing it this way. And hopefully it will make sense. So grab some scissors, because if you remember, I am a tape cutter, a washi tape cutter, not a tearer. And I'm just going to choose some paper. I want to make sure that the washi I'm using is very paper-like. Some washis are a little more plastic, and they have it's a little bit more difficult to paint on them, and I don't want that to be the case for these. So I'm going to line these up. I'm going to squish them as close together as I can. It's not going to be perfect because, well, who wants perfect? Maybe you do. Maybe you'll spend more time than this at me. But I'm going to tape all of these together and treat them like one gigantic sheet. And I want them to be kind of taped in all different directions. But I just want to make sure that every card is accounted for in the little party that I'm creating here for them. And remember, if I cover the holes here, that doesn't matter. That's why I have that little card punch. Now that was strictly just to hold all of these together. So now I can paint on it and decorate it as if it were one piece of paper. So I'm going to pull some of my colors out. And I'm just going to set it on the, oops, I have a glass palette next to me. I'm just going to put some dots of it on that. Now I realize this is a lot of color, a lot of colors, but I like it because I feel like I'll have a lot of options in case. I feel like it. I can even see this activity like taking your cards and sitting in front of the television or whatever, maybe with a little table in front of you, or sitting on the floor and doing this on the floor. And like just spending the night while you're watching a movie or something, just taping all of these together and just having a stack of these ready to go. And then maybe the next time you come to the art studio or to your art space, wherever that is, and you can then paint, just randomly paint them all. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see maybe what I'm doing. Now, I think I'm just going to grab one of my Dina Wakley media brushes. It's the 1-inch one. I love this brush. I love it because it's keeps its shape and it's got a little bit of bounce back. So not only can you use it for a paintbrush, but you can also use it as a stippling brush, which I love that. And you'll see me use that a little bit later as a stippling brush through my stencil. But I'm just going to take a few of my colors and I'm going to just get started. So this is like no rhyme, no reason. I'm going to kind of do a dry brush so it dries quickly, although I do have a heat tool next to me in case. And you can paint this however you want, but I just want to get some color on the page. Now this is all going to be background, so I'm not too worried about how this is going to look, especially since I'm doing so many layers. What am I going to do? Okay, I'm just going to be ballsy and just go for it. I'm going to grab the blue. And because theoretically they're mostly dry, I do still have a little bit of yellow on my brush, but that's okay. They should not blend. That's my theory. That's what I'm hoping. And it's okay. We're just going to go for it. I like how it's kind of turning green a little bit because I do have yellow on my brush. So I'm going to grab some of the green to kind of just keep going with that. And I don't want them to overlap too much because I really don't want them to turn brown. You know color theory, you know that warms, if you put a warm over a cool, cool over warm, it can turn your whatever brown. I'm going to take some of this hot pink that I had out, the fuchsia. What was it called? Tutti Frutti? Yep, Tutti Frutti. It's not really as bright and vivid as I'd want it to be, but that's okay. These cards are going to be so colorful. Eee. I want some more red. Red's my favorite color. I just want to see red in there. I was once told that you shouldn't art journal or decorate or paint with red, and it just hurt my soul to hear that. So I kind of tried to not pay attention to that as often as possible. Whoops. The key to this is not overthinking, and I have a tendency to overthink. So now that that is completely dry, I have my two smaller brushes, and I do want to add a little bit more to that, I think. Wait, no, wait, stop. Okay, I have 7 layers that I'm doing. So that was the first layer. That was my paint. Now I'm going to take some paper, and I'd like to just glue some paper down, and I'm going to use glue stick for this because I want it to be not too wet. So I need to stop and find my glue stick, which is here. I always use Yoo-Hoo glue stick. I just love it. I'm going to use a sheet of deli paper to use as my background for gluing so I don't get glue everywhere. I have some paper here that I'm going to use because I feel like it has been being called to please use me. And you know what? Because these are so small, I won't need very much paper. But this is kind of a beigey color, and I want to see if I have a more white color paper, and I may not. But so I found some music paper, which is a little more bright white. My father-in-law was a musician, and when he passed away, I got a whole bunch of his sheet music, which makes me super happy because then I can incorporate it into my artwork. So I'm just going to use a little bit of paper, and I just want to glue them down. But again, I'm using this piece of paper as if it's one sheet of paper. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I am gluing my paper down. I am making sure that there's no raw edges. There's no straight edges, the cut edges. I want them to all be torn. So the first thing I do is tear off all of that. And then I want to basically just tear my paper into random shapes, strips, different sizes. This will cover up a lot of the background, which is fine. Yeah, there's no real rhyme or reason. You just kind of go with it. Try not to think too much. I say that as much to myself as I'm saying it to you. So next thing I'm going to do, because there is so much white and I don't want that to be the predominant color because I will be adding words on the top layer. So I want to take this brush, which is the medium. It's the medium round brush of Dina Wakley's. So I'm going to take some of the paint, same colors I've been using, and just make some shapes. I'm going to actually add some white to this as well. So it's not quite so, I don't know, I just want to have options. Okay, so that has completely dried. I am going to grab, I'm gonna do my stencils next. So I just chose 3 stencils. They're all Tim Holtz, the mini ones. I have arrows, chevrons, and some words and numbers. And I think I'm gonna stick with the chevron to start, and I want to grab some of the heavy body, the Dina Wakley Heavy Body Media white paint. Because if you see, this is super, super crazy colorful, which is fine, but let's tone it down just a little bit. I'm going to use again one of the Dina Wakley brushes. so I have a bucket of water next to me that I'm just throwing that in there. I'm going to do one more round of stenciling. And I used quite a bit of the white, which I like that. I'm going to pull out some of the night, the Dina Wakley night color, which is not black. It's a really, really deep, deep blue. Yeah, let's try that. And I'm going to use one more brush. And I'm going to choose either the letters and numbers, or I'm going to choose the arrows. I'm going to choose arrows. Because these are my truth cards, I feel like arrows are somehow appropriate. I'm going to be a little more selective on where these go, but I am keeping in mind that these will all be cut apart. So I would like every card to have something on it. So let's throw this one into the bucket of water as well. Brush into the water and let's dry. Now that that is all dry, I'm going to do my last step as one large sheet, and I've decided that I'm going to cut it apart after that. So I have a few stamps, and I realize if I use them all, it's already a lot now. It's just going to make it more a lot. So I'm going to get rid of the mesh. Print is good. I think the print is good. Just do a couple of stamps of that just kind of randomly. It just adds texture on the background. It doesn't have to actually be like even terribly visible. Okay. And there's that one. That's enough. That's it. I'm going to do some circles. And I'm trying to be a little more selective on where these go. I don't need every card to have every design. And then I love this one, so I'm just going to pick a couple places to just kind of stamp it down. Oh, that was a very bad stamp. Bad, bad, bad. It's okay. And then that is enough of that. Now I'm going to go ahead and just cut this apart. And because I can't really see where my cards end in the front, I'm going to cut it off the back. Okay, I've gotten all of that done. What I did was I cut all of my cards apart, and then I cut any excess off of the edges. The other thing that I will eventually do is hole punch all the ones that are missing the little Rolodex holes have disappeared. I'll repunch those. I don't know. I think that they're really cool. And I even like when you take them apart and then kind of shuffle them together, it's kind of hard to imagine that they even came from the same piece of paper, but they did. So now what I like to do with these is I like to stockpile them. And when I am feeling froggy, watching TV or doing whatever I'm doing, and I have a little bit of time, I like to then, I have a folder. Now I have been doing this for a really long time, so I have a lot of these. But this is a file that I have kept, that I have typed up all sorts of quotes, thoughts, things that I just, you know, my truths basically, things that really spoke to me, things that kind of inspired me to keep going or to do something that I didn't think I would be able to do. I am not going to take the time to do all of these cards today. This would be a lot of cards to do, but I'm just going to randomly select a few, or two. Let's say two. And I'm going to do this one because it's really dark. I like that one because it's the pink. And I will do that one because it is messy. So the things that you're going to choose for your cards are going to be things like quotes that inspire you. Maybe it's good advice that someone had given to you and it just really, it's something that you want to remember. It could be lines from movies that you really enjoy, or maybe it's lines from poetry or music. Anything that you want. This is supposed to be your truth Rolodex. Anything that's true for you goes here. Now I am going to choose 3 different sayings. I realize one of my cards that I chose needs to have its little hole punched back out again. So I'm going to, I like to look at the side where you can see the hole to make sure I'm lining it up correctly. And I just kind of make sure it's lined up before you press it down. And once you press it down, there you go. Oops. There we go. Let's put that off to the side. So we've got that one. I was motivated to be different because I was different. Leap and the net will appear. Remember, these are just random things that I hear in the world, and I type them up because I like them at the moment, and I try to put it into some kind of font that makes me happy. I try not to do anything in boring font because boring font is, well, boring. And what you plant now, you will harvest later. I think that's very true for where I'm at in my life at the moment because I'm starting a bunch of new things. I am at the moment working on getting an in-person art classes going. My husband and I are turning our house into an art studio where we can host art classes, which will be a lot of fun. I'm also working on getting some online classes put together for those of you who have reached out and said, we really would love to take one of your in-person classes, but we unfortunately don't live in Portland, Oregon, so could you make it available online? So I'm working on that right now. So more to come on that. Yeah, there's just a lot going on in my life right now. I feel like I'm doing a lot of planting so that I will be able to harvest this life that I have envisioned for myself in the future. So I think those will be excellent to add to my truth cards for my Rolodex of truth. And once I cut them out, I really do like to cut them out, like even more than that. So I'm gonna, for this one, I'm just gonna say leap. And the net will appear. Do I want to say and the net will appear? For the most part, I like to to break up my little thoughts and quotes into 3 lines at least. So that is how that one's going to go. What you plant now, you will harvest later. I'm going to do that in two lines. I was motivated to be different. I should say because I am different versus because I was different. I still am different. And I like that about me. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue these down, and I'm going to do the same thing for all of my truth cards. They're all going to work the exact same way. Now you can get really super fancy with this. You can add thread behind there, behind the words you're going to paste down. You can add ribbon edging or lace or whatever you want. For now, for me, right now, I'm just going to try to keep it simple as this is, because it is a lot. But I'm going to grab a small glue stick. I'm going to grab a Stabilo pencil, a Stabilo All pencil, and I want to just kind of do some shading around the words. I like doing that because it makes it look like there's a shadow behind it, and it kind of pushes it off the page a little bit. It also grunges up the card a little bit more. If you've watched my channel at all, you'll know I like kind of a grungy style. I like that because it takes the pressure off yourself of trying to create something perfect. Perfect is awesome, but perfect is a lot of pressure. And I don't create art for perfection. I create art for the process of getting in touch with what's going on inside of me. Sometimes I need to turn off the outside world, and being highly sensitive, that's very difficult to do. The world is always running, your mind is always running. And I find that when I'm arting, which arting is a verb in my world, when I'm arting, it kind of shuts all of that down. It makes me focus on just my own thoughts, which is really difficult for me to do normally. So, yeah. A lot of times when I am art journaling or doing art, I realize my lead in this pencil is broken. I find that when I'm doing art or whatnot, and I get into the zone, that is a lot of times when these messages will pop into my head. And I realize I've heard it everywhere, but for some reason I didn't catch it. So I'm just going to take a paintbrush with a little bit of water in this lid and add a lot of water on it. Just kind of grunge up my words. I don't know. It gives it kind of a, it actually will dry, whoops, lighter than what it looks like right at the moment. So we can get that to kind of tone down a little bit. Well, it's okay. It's proof that I'm not going for perfection. I'm going to take some of that color and just kind of grunge up my card a little bit. And that way I don't have like big black lines around my words necessarily. Okay, the very last thing I want to do to these, just because it is my favorite thing to do when I'm art journaling, when I'm creating in my art stuff at all, and that is, I really like doodling on my pieces of paper. I always do, I always have. When I doodle, it's kind of like when I let my mind just wander, and that's when I go into my Zen place. That's when I think that the magic happens. So I'm just going to make some random marks. I'm not sure what I'm going to do just quite yet. Okay, I'm going to grunge it up just a little bit more with some pencil. The reason I like grunging up my work is because I really want my work to be tactile, which means people can pick it up, and especially for this project, it's going to be on a Rolodex, and they will have the ability to completely and totally pick it up and flip through my pages and touch them, and they're going to sometimes have dirty fingers, especially in my world. My husband's a contractor. He comes home dirty every single day just from the work that he does. And I want anyone who comes to look at this art to feel free to touch. And if I grunge it up first, then I can't tell that it has gotten more dirty. It can't stress me out or bother me, which is kind of what I think generally my natural inclination is, because I'm super clean, if that makes sense. It's not cleanliness, it's, it really is a natural sense of perfectionism. I think that's why I art the way that I do, to take all the pressure off of myself. So if I grunge it up first, the fact that it is grungy makes it perfect. So if people touch it and they make it dirtier, that's okay. It just adds to what I'm calling the patina of these cards. And that is my project. I think that those three are done for now. Now, I'm okay with them being curved. I just noticed something that I didn't notice before, so I need to retract a little bit. I purchased a business card holder, and I'm noticing, if you look here, the holes are different than the Rolodex one, so I may have to go back and research that a little more. I might just take an X-Acto knife and cut that out manually for now, but I really do want to put those into my Rolodex. And these little Rolodex, the tabby things, I'm going to decorate those independently, and I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to do with those yet. But I like the idea of having those be kind of the dividers. They're a little bit stiffer. They're almost a cardboard, almost. They're even thicker than a normal cardstock. So I love that. But you will be able to see here that I have at least my first 3 done. So let's just pull this apart. Super easy. All I have to do is kind of push up a little bit. I'm going to do, I think what my practice will be is I'll always do the newest one in the front. So 3 cards. It's going to take a while. Let's see if all the cards I've got sort of prepped already. Yeah, it's going to take a while. But I think that's going to be so fun, and I think it's going to be so cute sitting on my desk, just kind of hanging out, doing its thing. Yeah, I hope you saw all that. I just realized I'm way zoomed in, didn't realize it. But that is my project for the day. I love this little idea. I hope that you liked this process. Yeah, I'm in love with it. I think it's so much fun. And when you only have 5 minutes in a day to do something, this could be something, if you have these backgrounds already pre-ready, could be super easy that all you really need to do is come in and glue your words down and do doodling or grunging or however you want to finish your card. That would be so easy to do. And I've already got a bunch ready to go. So if you like this video, please thumbs up and let me know. That way I can know to make more. I have been so overwhelmed with the outpouring of love and support and all of the new subscribers. Thank you so much for watching my channel. I'm just in awe that you want to come see what I'm doing. But I'm so happy to share it with you, and I'm going to keep continuing to share it with you. I really feel like art is a tool for really creating a whole new life if you want. So thanks so much for watching. To the bottom of my heart, I just am filled with so much gratitude for you. I just want to serve, and if you can let me know down in the comment section how I can help you, what you'd like to see from me, if you'd like to see more Soul Book Club, or if you want to see some more of my Plan With Me's and my travel notebook, or if you want to see some more of my altered book or more of these types of things, or just independent videos of themselves, just give me some ideas. That would really help me out, because I really am here to serve you, and that's the point, is that I want to be of service to all of my viewers, which is you. So thank you so much. I appreciate you immensely, and until next time, bye for now.